Welcome to a Fish Out of Water podcast. This is your host, Richard Lippman. Today, we are interviewing Anna Shishova-Bogolubova, sponsored by Camera Museum of London at 44 Museum Street. So, Anna Shishova, tell us a bit about your upbringing and what you do, and why you're here now in Israel. And what you're up to.
Okay. I was born in Moscow, and I'm a documentary filmmaker. I've been working as a documentary filmmaker for, I think, almost 10 years. So for last, I don't remember exactly, but maybe 7 years, I have been making films which are very much against Putin's regime. And actually, this is why we left Russia just a month ago and settled down in Tel Aviv. So that's in very brief. And yeah, for last 5 years, we were making documentary which is about political repressions in Russia.
Well, I mean, when you were in Russia, were you ever interrogated about your documentaries and the aims of your documentaries by the authorities at the time?
We were very lucky not to be interrogated, but we had a kind of list of rules, what to do for not being interrogated. So
what were those rules?
So we were in like constant communication with lawyers and with the human rights organization which helps to political prisoners. Now this organization doesn't exist properly in Russia anymore because it is kind of proclaimed the foreign agent, which is now very common in Russia. So this is like very basic security rules, like not to be very active in social media, not like to have if we have many shooting in courts, and you always need to have permission, and not to so our characters were under house arrest, and we didn't film them inside the house. We only did it outside the house or in the court, and also we provided them with the cameras, so that's why we could do it remotely and not enter the house. So we tried not to kind of break the rules of their house arrest. When, for example, when we went on some protest rally, which were still possible while we're doing our film, now it's almost impossible to do in Russia. But
how did your father's documentary filmmaking influence you?
Very much. Maybe not just the documentary itself, but the way of his life and the way of his thinking and the way how he opens the world. Because from my childhood, I realized that your profession could be a tool of open a world, which was very interesting for me. My biggest fear was from the childhood was to be closed in a very tiny space, and to live all your life in one place, to see the same people, and to have very ordinary way of life. So and I was thinking how to combine this inspiration, like to live a vivid and like life, and how it can be your profession. So example of my father was very big, like very big example for me. Sorry for my English, but I think it's you understand what you mean, what I mean.
And what about your mother? Did she influence you in any way?
Sure, sure. My mother is very intellectual person, in a way that like she lives in a world of books and literature, and this is a great, also a great tool. I mean, so and in this way she influences me very much, because I just realized that it's so great to read books as much as possible. It was very not popular when I was a teenager, just to read a lot, and so we had the fashion on, like, you know, some like criminal stuff or clubbing or something like this, but yes, but
what did she read? What did she read? What did you read?
Classical literature, scientific literature,
like
all
what?
kind of
some titles. Can you give us some titles?
But it's like all Russian classical literature. It's like quite hard to I mean, Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, Chekhov, Nabokov, I don't know, Pushkin, Gogol. I can list it quite long. So yeah, all Russian classical literature formed me very much. Scientific literature like Jung, Zweig, psychological literature, but I really like it. So
Werner Herzog used to say, read, you know, there's nothing worse than a mediocre film and a mediocre documentary. And he said, you got to read. So you're very literate, and I can see that. And from your films, we're going to go into that and delve a bit deeper, but I'm just touching the surface here. To me, when I watch it, I'm like, it feels like, because I'm here in the UK, right? As a different culture, they show different things for different audiences. When I watch your films, though, I feel like I'm in a novel. Yeah, I feel like
Thank
I'm in
you.
a book. And I feel like you know, I'm sitting on the shoulder of your characters as you tell the story. That's what it feels like.
Thank you for this. Yeah, I think it's also because Russian literature formed me very much, and maybe I use something from it to create documentaries. Yeah.
Studied modern history. What modern history was that?
Russian.
And what did they teach you? What do they teach you? I mean, is there do the reference books that you have to read, are they all from Russia, or are they from different parts of the world?
From different parts of the world. It's a very academic classical education, because it's like Moscow State University. It's yeah, very traditional university. So it means that for first several years we study just history of the world from the very beginning, like very beginning, till the modern time. And for this you need to know like all the history. Very quickly it became very dull for me. So I liked some specific period, for example, medieval time and Inquisition, the history of Inquisition. I really like this period. I don't know why. I just like the all the images and atmosphere about this and this kind of stuff. I liked Russian Revolution of 1917. Yes, and it was very this kind of stuff. I liked Russian Revolution of 1917. Yes, and it was very interesting period for me. So I picked I choose periods which I liked and read a lot about this. All the other periods, I just try to run through it, pass my exams, and forget.
Right. But what were the teachers like in the university?
Oh, they were very different people there, but the atmosphere there is very strict and academic. I know that this is not like this in other universities. We have some other universities which are more free, but like Moscow State University, it's like very and very different people. I mean, they were, for example, people who were on Russian department. I don't know how it's better to say, like Russian history department. Many of them were communists, and that made me
What does that
really.
mean? What does that mean for a Western audience? What were they thinking? What's the idea?
They supported. So it means that they didn't accept it, USSR collapse. They wished that it never happened. So they, I don't know, liked Lenin. Some of them even liked Stalin. They supported their ideas, they believed in them, and all their historical research was based on this. So it made me very sad. I couldn't understand this. I couldn't accept this. For me, it was.
Were they older? Yeah. Older generation, right?
It was older generation. I could understand them from psychological point of view. But I couldn't accept this, because if you're a historian, how could you accept Stalinist time? How could you accept all the crimes which were made by USSR regime? How it's possible? So maybe this was huge, my huge inner conflict, which made me to first leave this field and not take it very serious. Quite quickly I understood that I don't see historical career like a serious way of my personal realization.
You got into film school. Do you remember the day that you were accepted at film school? What was your reaction?
I was really happy.
The courses, do you think the political orientation has changed?
Exactly. The political issues started to be but everything changed. The country changed, and of course it is reflected also on the way of educational process. For example, I know that the film about any critical topic can't be possible now in this university. So it could be really dangerous for the student, for his character, for his teachers, and so on.
What films were you studying at the at how do I pronounce it?
Gerasimov.
Gerasimov. Much better. What films were you watching or being influenced by? Can you tell us how you were taught?
Plenty of films we watched and watched and watched. The first film which was shown to us was Katya. You know, this trilogy, Katya, Provokatsy, and third one I do not remember. So it was amazing for me, and I didn't expect it, that such a great documentary really exists. I couldn't believe how it's possible to do this, and it was really inspiring for me. So and then we just started from the very like the beginning era of cinema from Lumiere brothers, and came just step by step. But of course, there was a big accent on classical Russian and Soviet school, like Tarkovsky, Ziga-Vertov, Eisenstein. This what we really had to know, but it's good experience and very useful. So, and then just different period of development of cinematography.
And you mentioned a documentary. What was that called? Oh, you mentioned a series of 3 films.
Katya of Godfrey Reggio.
Did you make many friends at the school?
Yeah.
Are you still in contact with them now?
Yeah. My husband is from this school. This is the question: what is the Soviet style of editing? Yes. Or
yeah, what's the Soviet style of making films?
If we are talking about the style and not mix it with propaganda or, you know, the idea, but just the style, it's very much, I think, about the feeling than about the logic. So and very much about the image and the feeling which this image arises in you or in the viewer, then about, you know, the consequences of logical narration, so to say. So the first place here goes to feeling, emotions, and, I don't know, atmosphere, feeling of time. Maybe this also about Tarkovsky style, and showing some inner process, psychological processes, so to say. Then about action itself, or the sequences of action, and so on. Yes, I think yes, it's
on your Vimeo.
I'm not sure that it is in my Vimeo, but I can try to find the link, because it's Pacific Ocean.
No, I haven't got it there.
It's like a very student film.
Okay.
But I can try to find this. It's a pity that while escaping from Russia, I had to remove almost all everything from my laptop, and so that's why I do not have.
Okay. Well, why? You're afraid of being stopped and searched, and
yeah.
Any sort of evidence they'll see you as some sort of foreign agent or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of interesting. And okay, what is style to you? What kind of style do you think you have when you tell stories?
You know, I really do not want to have like one particular style. For example, in the film which we are finishing now, The New Greatness, the style is totally different comparing with the previous films. And I want to have experiments and to have different um, kind of styles and to try different things. So that's why I think maybe this New Greatness case documentary has something from previous works and reflects some of my previous experience. But at the same time, I really want to try something new. So I like poetry in the films. I feel it and I appreciate it when I see it in other works, and I really cannot uh, exist in a cinematic landscape without poetry. I need this. So, for example, for me, like Moore films, Thomas More, like are very not my style, or like any kind of films which Thomas More, or I forgot. Michael Moore. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm very bad in the names. Yeah, Michael Moore's style is like something that um, I will never like learn how to do it, because I like his films, but for me it's impossible to like to have this kind of style. It's very like yeah, that is it. But
A bit staccato, right?
yeah, so that's why I also like directors which use this poetry in the films, also like Rossi or Kosakovsky, Laznitsa. Yeah, they are very close to me.
Um, what's going to happen with the New Greatness? Is it going to be released soon? And how do people get to see it?
Um, yes, it will be the premiere of the film will take place this May in New York, in within Human Rights Watch Film Festival. So we also will have TV premiere in Arte, which stepped in co-production not long ago. So I do not know exactly what will be the date, but it will be something around end of May or something. So, and then I don't know, we have very good sales agent outlook. Um, and I think that the film will have quite a good festival story. So yeah,
How
I
how um, was it easy to put together?
to put together. What do you mean?
To edit the story? Did it take a long time? You said there was a lot of footage that you got from people. You interviewed people, and but
Yeah, it was very.
how did you manage to get the footage out the country? Maybe this was a bit controversial, and was that something that was sent over the internet or?
It was very big scale of footage, and it was very tricky to hide the footage and to get it from the country. But we did it in like several um, stages. We left some part of the footage in our friends' houses abroad, and we also uh, sent some footage to Finland, where our editor is situated, and uh, yeah, and we had some rushes, of course, in Moscow, but we try to do it, in different ways, and to do it as much safe as possible.
Right, right. So would that have been online or through post or things like that? It's
You mean the sending the footage,
yes,
or
sending the footage.
it was partly not we sent it by post, by DHL or something, I think, just the hard drives.
Right.
We also did it by like personally when we traveled to different country. We gave, but actually the thing is that we didn't break any law giving this footage because there is nothing illegal. So we didn't actually in a low field. We didn't have any kind of weak points. So so to say, that's why as soon as you do not know anything illegal, the only thing that you can be like that state can do something illegal with you, I mean blackmailing or this kind of things. So but from our side we didn't break any laws.
And what was it like working with the editor? How much input did the editor have in the storytelling? And
Very big.
okay.
Very big. And it was great experience actually, because this type of film, it's okay, there are some, you know, these poetic things and images and all this kind of things from my previous experience, but there are also very big part from investigation, investigative part, and also just the story itself. It plays a very big role in the film. And there are one private story and also a common story of the whole case, and also kind of the story of political repressions itself during this period of time which we're following. So the working on the script was very, very hard. And firstly it was just me and Dima who did the first rough edit, and we chosen the scenes, and then when Finland stepped in, the rough cut service company, they gave us a great editor and also one like editor and one editing consultant, Joel Alexis, and Walter Van Hanen. He was the main editor. So, but for me, it's very important to trust. Before this, we tried several editors within like several workshops which were took part. It was like ITFA workshops, like B2B. This is also like very helpful organization for documentary filmmakers. So we had some experience of working with several editors, and it was very good in a way to understand that this is not the right person. It could be like great editor, but something doesn't, you know, work.
How do you know that?
It's during the work you understand this. It's like when you I think that's very much about when you start to work with the editor and you just understand that if a person doing something that somehow correlate with your vision, but at the same time give something new, but giving this new, you understand that it's really goes with the idea, and the editor can understand this idea. For me, it's very important to hear and to be heard and to be on the same way, like on the same wave, so to say. So we, of course, we had many argues and many, you know, like things which we just, it was kind of fight, but right. At the same time, I need to trust the, you know, the way of the editor see.
Can you give us one small example of how the two match? Maybe something that the editor brought in that was part of your vision or you didn't think about, or and vice versa. Also, right.
Yeah, I think that it was very much about, for example, a very big part of the film contains of the footage from the hidden camera. So I don't know if you had a chance to go through the treatment, but just in a brief. So this group of teenagers, of young people who were arrested, they were filmed, and we had this footage. They were filmed during their meeting while they were discussing all political issues. So it was very hard to work with this hidden camera footage because we had like many hours of this footage, and we didn't know how to go through the story with this. And we step by step, it was like very big work. And it's very much about choosing things, like, there are, like, for example, like several colors, and you say, okay, this is red, is good here. And if the editor say like no, blue is good, and this is because like this and this. And if you feel that there is like a reason in this choosing the blue, this is like how it works. But if the editor, like, the reasons of editor gives to you doesn't correlate, doesn't like so it's about the choosing right things. So when you choose the same things, this is great. Sometimes you do not choose the same things, but then there is, the field of arguing. But in this arguing also some decision is growing. So and on each step, for example, with this hidden camera footage, it was very much about choosing the right things. And I felt that I trust this person, how he chooses. This is very important, to trust, try to trust to someone's choice. Yeah, that I think that is it.
Were you there in the edit all the time, physically, or was it done remotely? You said you had a script. So was there an actual script from, like, 50 pages or something of the sort?
No, it was
of everything, or was it like scenes or treatments?
Yeah, it was like a big board, just the board with the stickers.
Right.
Like a very huge, like first we just I think it's like common things for this kind of documentary scripts. We just had the list of all the scenes with the different colors, like all the hidden camera scenes, like are, for example, green. All the Julia's main character scenes are red. All the I don't know, Vasily's journalist investigative, like, did it different colors. So we had this big, and then we just like worked on the sequences, on the order of the scene. And it was the most difficult process because we had so many scenes and they are like interwoven with each other. And if you like remove one from like the picture is totally different. So it was a very long and tiring process. And I wish like that the next project will be a bit easy because yeah, I think all our team needs some rest.
And you had a lot of other producers on board. Were they involved to get the money together, or were they involved in shaping the story?
Money.
Okay.
No, actually, we have Finland producer Ika Verhalahti, who is also did a great input in the story, but not as a producer, but as a script supervisor. And he was one who built the script. There's like he was totally involved in this process. So but we, of course, we asked advices and comments and gathered and talked with each of our producers, and it was very useful, and they gave really great feedbacks, and we listened to them. But it was great that most of their feedback were also very close to like our main vision, and we didn't have any conflicts, and they also were very sensitive, and they didn't push us. They really like great professional in this. I mean, they trust, and they don't push, and they it's very precious.
What was it? What can you describe the vision of the new greatness?
It's the film about Russian society. I mean, it's very hard to explain in like one sentence, because maybe this is the story about the fear and the bravery. That's how I can tell what I can tell in a brief. Yeah. Maybe this is also the story about the roots of the fear in our society, like the visual explanation why Russian people are live in fear, from where it comes and how it happens, like why people are afraid to speak openly against regime. What can be after this? And this is example what can happen with you if you are trying to say something against.
During this film, and you interviewed people in previous films, how do you approach your subject? Do you know that they trust you? Are there any difficult moments that you have to overcome?
It was very open, but at the same time very scary process. I mean, from the very beginning, our characters, they were very open, and they are amazing people, amazing and brave people, and we were introduced to them by our friends from human rights NGO, which actually helps to political prisoners and also provides some legal help to families of political prisoners. And as this organization, they are our friends, that's how we got the access. And when the lawyers and the family of arrested knew that this case could be shown to international audience, and how the truth can be revealed, they were really inspired. They because they wanted to, you know, to tell this story to the world, and it's also was very important for them. And also, I think that the fact that we were with them, we were filming them, and we didn't left them, was very also big things for them, because there were many journalists during the case was happening, but the specific of journalist works is it's very temporary. You know, they come for one interview and then they disappear, and we stayed with them all the while, like all the 3 long hard years of the case were going on. We were near, so, and it was important for them. They I think they felt our support, and it was kind of.
What do you think is going to happen after the film is shown?
I don't know.
Do you worry about the contributors? I mean, what will happen to them? With the people involved?
You mean the characters?
The characters, yeah.
I can say that as much publicity the case and the character has, as safer they are. And this is the common rule which we had before the war started, because we have plenty of similar cases in province, and nobody know about them, and people can be even killed and tortured without any information. And as much information the case get through the press or any kind of films or any as safer the people are. So it's harder to, I don't know, to torture, to blackmail, to kill people if they, you know, the information about them was spread all over the world. So that is it. But for example, one of our characters, Konstantin Kotov, he was released, and he's Anya's husband now. And after he was released, he continued his activity, and now he's under a big threat, not because of our film, but because of his way of life, and because of his ideas. And he's very brave, but at the same time very stubborn person. I'm really worried about him, but still I hope everything will be fine. But it's like a dangerous way of life he's living.
So in a sense, he's like he wants to expose some sort of political truths and injustices. What's your next film? You got any ideas for your next film?
Yeah, I have an idea which I really want to try to realize. It's about the young people in Russia who live in a constant conflict with conservative part of society, but still they are not political activists, but they are like most fragile group of society. They are young. I have like several characters who could be like become characters of the future film. And one of them is feminist, and she's also from LGBT community. And so I just want to somehow catch the life of vulnerable group of society who still live in the country, and just to catch their life, how they live, how they actually can stand all this, because it's really, really hard. But through some specific way of showing it, this is like another story. But
does that mean that they would film themselves? Maybe. Would that be one of the ideas?
Partly. Yes, partly themselves, partly they will be filmed by DPs. But yeah, but in Russia now we have this kind of special way of protesting which is called something like hidden protest, or how it's better to translate, shade protest. This is tool how you can protest, but uh, as much safe as possible, because even if you are going on the street and show the paper without anything, you can be arrested immediately. So people are so now trying to do something new to express their protest, because this is very hard, to keep it in yourself. They need to do it, and this is very interesting subject for me. So, and I want to maybe invent some tool how to give the tool for characters to express their protest through the film, through the reflection of new reality, which now more and more becomes totalitarian reality.
Does it mean that you'd have to go there physically as well to sort of direct?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe in um, like some period, not very soon, but now we just need to observe how things are going, and we want to like wait until the new greatest film will be released, and then we need to take some pause. But it's can be done remotely. Now we have some tools, and it's possible.
And would you consider exploring subjects outside of Russia?
Sure, sure. It's uh, uh, it's very um, like I'm really interested in this, because I think that it's very important to change the subject, and not to be always concentrated on Russia. I do not want to all my life to film about Russia, even though I love Russia and it's very painful topic, and you always can find some topics there, plenty of topics. Russia is very rich country for documentary themes. Maybe not the best country for living, but for documentary filming is one of the best, I think. But at the same time, it's very important for me to search for something new, and to understand different characters, different culture. I'm very much in Russian culture, which is not actually benefit. I think you need to be more.
How do you search? What's the process? Is that conscious or subconscious?
I think it's a constant process. It's very much about subconscious, but now knowing the market better, and the industry better, it should be also a conscious process, so to say. And
Is it about finding stories that's going to attract funding or audiences, or is it
exactly, sure,
more
sure.
so than something you feel you've got to do, or
But
is it
I
a
think that
conflict?
it could be combined,
Mm. Mm.
and it should be combined. Otherwise, you are doing this a bit like in Soviet time. There was a good phrase, under, no, or in the table. Like you're writing in the table. It means that you're writing and put it in some like you know hide it somewhere. So it should be both. It should be for uh, like to sell the film, to show it on TV, and but just to play these rules also is important.
And how are you finding it in Israel? You've been there for a month. Um, what's your impression?
great people are living here, very open and very kind. But it's just a month. It's very hard, to have a complete picture. But it's funny that it also very complicated society with many problems, tragic things, and we uh, we had some talks with the documentaries from here, and they are very similar in a way with Russian documentaries. They are full of pain for their country and for the situation in their country. And yeah, this is what is like very similar. So, and I just want to be a bit, in a position of observer, because I need to understand the context better, and I'm very bad at this specific Israeli context, and I need to learn about this more. So, but for this, like, I need time. But I see that many interesting processes happening here as well, and it's a very good place for living and for documentary filming as well. So,
All right. Thank you. And is this the sole occupation that you have, or do you do other things as well?
no, I do not do anything else. This last project was like it occupied most of my time. We did several documentaries for just like commercial stuff, and one of them was for Arte, just like TV documentary, which helped us to survive during filming Your Greatness. But it's like everything connected with documentary filmmaking.
And was the funding enough? Does it at the moment, or is it a scale type thing? Depends on the scale and what's needed.
You mean in general, or in general?
In general.
Yeah, it's very much about the scale, and it's very sometimes you have money, sometimes you do not have money. It's not the type of work when you like regularly each month has like the certain amount of income, and that's kind of tricky because you cannot predict your future, and also it's not easy, but it's possible to live. Not easy, but possible.
And living with a partner who's also a director and filmmaker, is that easy? Or are you both on the same page?
That's great. That's not easy, but that's great. I mean, I don't think that it could be possible if we were in different field of because it's very hard to live with a person who is making documentary, not to understand this crazy way of life. I'm not sure that that is even possible. Yeah.
You're involved in your what's the word? There's engaged in the process 24/7.
Yes, we do not have regular weekends, which is also tricky because it's kind of you need to permit yourself the rest. it's not that okay, your office is closed and you have the rest official, so you should permit this, and it's something that you should work on just to give you the chance to rest a bit.
Final words, philosophy of life.
Love. I think that this is the main word for me. Sometimes it's hard to find love in some moments of life, but I think when you search for it, it can help you to survive in really difficult situations. And it's about love to yourself, to your partner, to just people, life itself. And yeah, I think this is very, very important.
Thank you very much, Anna Shishova. Good luck with everything. And
thank you. And may I ask you also one question?
Sure.
Actually, how did you find the information about me and Dima, and why have you chosen us for interview?
Okay, I was looking around on Google, and you know what, and I think what came up in the feed on the Yahoo News feed was an AFP article. So Agence France Presse wrote an article about a couple of that Russian documentary makers were having a hard time now, and that several have had to leave the country.
Yeah,
I saw your names. I thought, oh, let's investigate further and see what they're up to. And so that's where I made the first contact.
Yeah, that's interesting. I remember this interview where we were really lost, and yeah. Okay, that's interesting, because after this interview, like, we have several contacts from different journalists, and
Right.
yeah, I didn't know that it will have this kind of, spreading. And
Definitely do. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Fish Out of Water podcast. This is your host, Richard Lipman. Should you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please get in touch. Sponsored by Camera Museum of London at 44 Museum Street.